My question is to the Minister representing the Minister for Housing. Budgets are a statement of priority. They tell us what a government thinks is important. From this year's budget, it is clear that roads are important to Labor, prisons are important to Labor, housing, it seems, not so much. The investment in public housing by this Labor government amounts to just 0.4% of its spending on infrastructure over the next 4 years. Only $185 million on public housing, despite billions of dollars being found for toll roads. At the same time, the government is using the urgent need for renewal and renovation of public housing to sell off our public housing estates. In the midst of a housing affordability crisis, with a public housing waiting list of nearly 40,000 applications, why has the Labor government left an investment in public housing to languish in this budget? Or if I can put it another way, what is the justification for only $185 million for public housing?
Without assistance.
President, I find it interesting that the Greens party would ask questions about this matter given their track record in relation to these matters, and that is when it came to the crunch, the Greens party actually tried to scuttle public housing projects in our state. Our government has a proud record. Our government has a proud record when it comes to social housing. We've committed over $1 billion in this term of government in additional housing and homelessness support, building on $2.1 billion in financial backing to deliver thousands of new social housing units. 86,672 social housing units are set to be built by June this year, a new record. And I commend Minister Foley for that work. And plenty more are coming, despite the attempts by those opposite in cahoots with the Greens party to prevent these projects from being built. Our $1 billion social housing growth fund will add 2,200 more homes in 4 years, and the $1 billion loan guarantee, $100 million loan facility and 4,000 management transfers will help build even more homes. And Ms Crozier, if I were you, I'd pipe down, because all we see from the Liberal Party is the NIMBY arguments from those opposite. All we see is NIMBY arguments scaring community members about social housing projects across Victoria and keeping people on waiting lists. That's all you are interested in, is scaring people about social housing tenants and stigmatising vulnerable members of the community. As a government, we've also invested $152 million in our family violence housing blitz, addressing the fastest growing category of homelessness, women escaping family violence. And I'm proud of that. In my own portfolio, we have almost $50 million of investment for family violence victims, both women and children, including continued flexible packages for women and children escaping family violence, so that they can either upgrade their home and the security measures in their home, or they can have the supports that they need if they need to relocate. So despite what we've seen from those opposite, as well as the Greens party, we're rebuilding rundown estates in communities like Ashburton and Preston, in my own electorate, Flemington, Paran, Ascot Vale, North Melbourne, Brunswick, Northcote, Clifton Hill, Heidelberg West, Hawthorn and Brighton. And we're building 50 modular units on underutilised land, despite the Liberal candidate for Brighton's opposition to poor people living near the Golden Mile. So we are transforming rooming houses as well, such as that at Elanara and Layfield Street, and in Ascot Vale, Flemington, Carlton, Ballarat. So what we've seen from Minister Foley is significant action in this space, and responding to the needs of those who are on the housing waiting list, as well as those who are experiencing homelessness. And that is despite the fact that we are seeing just cuts from the Turnbull government when it comes to national partnerships, when it comes to support for people experiencing homelessness. They've got absolutely no interest in supporting the vulnerable. So our housing strategy, Homes for Victorians, underlines the strength of our government's commitment, working across government to tackle the growing issue of housing affordability. And it's in contrast to those opposite who absolutely hate social housing, and those commentators who make a virtue of joining them in opposing homes for those in need, President.
Ms Ratnam on a supplementary question.
Thank you, Minister. I think you failed to grasp the intent of my question, which is about the woeful, inadequate spend on public housing at a time of absolute crisis. And in the midst of this crisis, with in the midst of this crisis, the government is proud of its surpluses, which essentially is money that's not being spent for the benefit of the community. In light of these budget surpluses, can the minister confirm how many homes could be built for Victorians who need a roof over their head if the government spent only half of the projected surplus in the next 4 years building new public housing?
Mr Kakos.
Well, thank you, President. I refer the member to the answer I gave to her substantive question, where I referred to $1 billion of investment in this term of government. We are getting on with addressing the housing waiting list. We are getting on with putting in more support for homelessness support, building on $2.1 billion in financial backing to deliver thousands of new social housing units. So we are making the investment that is necessary. And what we have seen from the Greens Party is just sheer hypocrisy when it comes to this issue, because they have voted together with the Liberal Party to, in fact, stop these important projects from actually taking place on at least two occasions. We have had the Greens Party voting with the coalition to continue to stop these projects from being built in different communities across Victoria.
Again, I think you're debating, and it was a very specific question. And the question was, you know, I can accept that if I were in your place, I wouldn't be in a position to answer it at this time either. But that doesn't allow you to simply go on and debate other matters, and particularly to reflect on the Greens, or the opposition for that matter, as you know. Minister, to complete.
Well, thank you, President. It's just that if the member asks this question, given her party's track record, then she's leading with her chin. And I'm just pointing out the sheer hypocrisy of the Greens Party.